Well, hello everyone. Here to show you that the GTA Vice City art you see coloring right here is that of course this coloring activity right here that I went ahead and drew of course was of course is a number of things that I went ahead and drawn. It's like back before I even had a computer to where I can do a number of things. Of course, it's like knowing about the back before I even had a lot of the things of course I have now, such as you say is camcorders or webcams or anything like that. Is knowing about that. It's like that this is the type of things I used to do. Is like knowing about. It's like drawing details. You say on sketch paper it is, but you have right here is I went ahead and drawn a picture right here. I would say of say it's like if most of us say teens it was if we say adults, it's like anybody who's ever played the game Grand Theft Auto. It's like Grand Theft Auto Vice City it was, and just knowing about that if most of us are familiar with like that type of game it is, like knowing about they've already had I think Grand Theft Auto 5 they came out say back in September I think last year it was, but anyway but to talk about is like with Vice City though, is that knowing about it's like that really that's like the only game I really have from like let's say the GTA series. It was is other than it's like there was of course GTA it was like San Andreas, and of course they had see Liberty City stories, and then of course Vice City stories, and I think Chinatown Wars, and then they've also had episodes from Liberty City, and if I can remember what year, I think 2005, and then of course one was I think was in '08, Grand Theft Auto 4. But then other than that is not knowing about with all these games. Of course, I never had all of them. I just I mainly have like Liberty City stores and Grand Theft Auto 5 it was, and then of course got Vice City. But anyway, so far as the whole GTA collection series is that they have right here is the idea, the details I went ahead and put right here is for the helicopter, and then along with is like you got right here is that it's like the details I went ahead and added for like you got the ocean, but then but a lot of times it's like I know with most people probably think whenever they play the game it is like knowing about like you'll be able to whenever you play the game that you can ride ride a bike. It's like ride a motorcycle. It's like on the roads it was, and of course get in trouble. It's like by the police it was. It's like by the VCPD it is, and then knowing about it's like detouring like the different sceneries and stuff. But other than that you have right here is like one trick that I heard about is knowing about is like the main character is like in the game. It's like so far as Tommy it is knowing about that if he were to have like what you call is like have a weapon it is, if he were to have something that he can use as like for a weapon, and then knowing about that in the game it is that he were to be getting in trouble say by the law it is, and then knowing about one thing that I know I heard about of course was the fact that you can actually climb up the rope and say into the helicopter, and take the helicopter, steal the helicopter, and in air it is. It's like I guess they may look at it as kind of like you say is maybe a little bit I don't know if I would say is maybe a hijacking or anything like that, but I guess basically what that there's like a trick I guess that you would be able to push on the control. It is if it would be I think it's the triangle say or the X it is, or it's the circle say the button that you would push on the control just to make it like the main character is like climb up the rope into the helicopter it is. But you have right here is I went ahead and drawn pictures. So you got one of those guys that would come down I think from the SWAT team or something like that. They would come down from the helicopter it is, and then of course you eliminate them, and then you kill them, and then from there, and then of course it would be about 3 or 4 ropes that would come down. But it's like you heard that you can climb up the ropes and climb up into the helicopter, and of course it's like, and then go ahead and take the wheel. It's like going and climb up, and then you'll be able to take the wheel. It's like from the helicopter it is, and then fly. But then I can remember that whenever I first got the game, that I can remember that if I remember right, that it's like had gotten it off of I think it was off half.com it was, but anyway that got it used, and then until I got until I wanted to have another disc, because I think one disc of course was getting all worn and torn it was. But anyway, that you have right here is like with the game, that whenever I wanted to play this game right here, is I can remember that one of my favorite parts, of course, of the whole gameplay, of course, was the fact about being able to say as fly a helicopter. Was not really that I seen that advertised on say on the ads. It's like knowing about that whenever the game comes out, it is just knowing about I heard it up up there at the wherever I was going to school. It's like knowing about that you can actually pilot helicopters. It was, and you have right here is like with the helicopter that you got right here is the landing gear. It is, but with most gameplay players would probably think about that whenever they first buy the game is like knowing about the types of sceneries that they would probably see is like you can steal motorcycles, boats, and stuff like that. Fly helicopters and there may be some people probably think about that. There ain't no subways. That they taking out the subways, and then of course taking out the metro, if there was any metro trains or anything like that. Compared to like GTA 3 it was. But other than that, is knowing about it, you got right here is the helicopter. And one thing, of course, that I was looking forward to whenever I was playing the game was the fact about being able to pilot a helicopter, being able to fly a helicopter, because I thought that would be pretty neat to actually fly one of those. And I remember whenever I was in school, I wanted to be learning how to fly a helicopter. But of course, I guess that's kind of a question, is knowing about if I'm still interested in that or not, But maybe on the game, it's like helicopter simulator. I'm like that. I know they got like train simulator on the PC, but just warning at the time, if they got like the trucking simulator, but at the time you begin to wonder if they're ever going to have like what you call a software related like for for helicopter pilot simulator or anything like that. Like where you can get satellite images of the different cities, like maybe New York City or Chicago, any places like that, to where that you would be able to that you would be able to find. It's like it's like different places. It's like so far as fly to different locations. It is and get some pilot lessons and but based on your on your computer, and then earn a number of points. It's like if you fly smoothly, then you earn a number of points. Say on the game it is. But on your hand too, that knowing about that yeah, they go ahead and take the blue right here, and of course it's like you highlight a little bit parts to say crayon with the blue marker. It is. But other than that, knowing about that with it's like with the art that I got right here is knowing about I got the police cars right here, and like in the game that you would probably have been saw that in the game that there was like a motorcycle rider about right here. But then of course it like if like go ahead and draw, I would say another police car at about right here it is. But in the game though that you would have like about 5 the whenever the policeman would call for backup, it is that they knowing about that you would have like a few police cars chasing you, and then on your hand too that knowing about it's like you want to to take a car, want to steal a cop car it is, and drive around the city with it. It's like I think I remember that the types of cities that they had. I think Starfish Island was one of them, and the other one I think Prone Island was the other one. But anyway, you got right here maybe like a meat wagon type vehicle right here. It's like an enforcer say type van it is. But you got that with the SWAT team chasing you. It's like for like I think 4-star felony it would be that it's like have the SWAT team start chasing you. It is. But other than that, is knowing about people will probably think about with games like that you probably thinking about that. Yeah, that a lot of times you're probably thinking about whenever you play with most parents when they have their kids playing. A lot of times you're playing the games like GTA. It's like 4 or 5 or anything like that. If they're gonna ever have a game, say like Grand Theft Auto. It's like Bado Seco Island or anything like that. Nowadays, I'm sure the software graphics have enhanced, as knowing about it. It's like you have it where you can have diving. It's like you do diving and other type of experiments like that. Doing adventures like talk about sea life, exploration. It is. see a lot of exploration. But other than that, let's talk about what you got the helicopter scene right here. Is you guys like with the pilots right here, and just knowing about that. Just be kind of it's like knowing about with me that whenever I would be playing the game, it is, and just knowing about that you got right here is like you got one-way glass. Go ahead and try it's like for like the glass scene right here, and then of course it's like a lot of people probably think about it's like with the spotlight, because usually there's like a spotlight at about right in here to where that the police would be looking around. It's like we got you surrounded, criminal. But, other than that, knowing about like the times whenever I played that game, of course I may play it maybe sometime soon. Like knowing about that, really, if you can really actually do that to where you can actually get connected all live and actually download that. Yeah, the original, it's like the old games like GTA, Vice City, it is, and be able to play the games once more, and then knowing about that you have stuff like maybe like I know like me, a lot of times when people would play the game that they would like to get the cheat codes and stuff like that. Getting the cheat codes to get all the guns, and then of course it's like to have get a tank, and then like be driving around the city. People probably think about be blowing up cars, or stirring up trouble with the police, it is, and breaking the law. But on the other hand too, that knowing about with me that sometimes a lot of times that's what I do is but with most game players, they also understand too about with the game that really that's the whole fun part about it is of course is getting in trouble with the law, of course. But on the other hand too, that knowing about with the game, that people probably think about the whole fun part I guess about the game is not really about the fact about killing people, and then of course about getting in trouble, getting arrested or whatever you call it. Of course robbing banks or whatever, but maybe going to a strip bar. But on the other hand too, to knowing about, I really think the whole purpose about the game is knowing about, of course, knowing about the types of jobs that the different things that you can do. I remember whenever I first got GTA 3, I remember I ran it, and of course that and then decide whenever I wanted to get it, and then of course that they have it to where they gotta see a student ID. They have to see an ID, and now I don't know about student ID, but they gotta see an ID just to prove like knowing about whenever I went up to that place to buy the game, of course. And I remember that they had like what you call guardians, like they had like a void guard. I think anybody who's under the age can't be guard void, I guess how you pronounce it, that they would have it to where that you can't buy this game for anybody who's under mature, it is. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that they still, it's like you have fun with that game now. And then whenever GTA Vice City came out, it was like that one of the things that was, I'm sure with most game players would probably say look forward to, is knowing about being able to fly helicopters. It was. And I remember whenever I first played the game that they say you gotta complete the missions. You gotta complete the missions, and one of those missions was about passing I think say go ahead. One of the missions, of course, if I can remember right, was taking a car and then delivered to some gang mob or something like that. And then other than that, is not knowing with me that I like that say doing the vigilante, and of course the ambulance, driving say the ambulance, they say around say the city. And then other than that, it's like knowing about, it's like it's a pretty fun game. Other than that. That knowing with most parents that they would be playing the game, it is just thinking about it, it's like it's like violent, because it's like knowing about it's like that I don't want you doing it. But on the other hand too, the way I think about it, it's like with most kids that they think about it, it's like the things that you can do on an actual game. It's like knowing about that it's like it's just a game. But it's like just thinking about it, it's like the type of game that you think between game reality and actuality is knowing about the fact about that. But with the game though, that really that really with the character though, that we all know that when it's like well, whenever you're playing the game, it is that the fact about whenever you're driving a car, it is, and just knowing about the fact about you can actually get in there and you don't even have a license. You don't even have to get a license in order to be able to, to fly one of these things. You get a pilot license, or you say knowing about that. Yeah, if you're really caught with it, then more likely there's going to be a lot more trouble. But other than that, knowing about the fact about, yeah, maybe let you off with a warning, whatever it is, but. Other than that, let's talk about the details I went ahead and drew right here. It's like for the helicopter pilot, that with the helicopter, police helicopter, and with most game players, that I would probably suggest that really it's about all the fact about having fun with the game. I go ahead and draw it's like a little outline right here. It's like with the marker, and of course that don't really show up very well. But anyway, go ahead and use the brown right here. But anyway. Whole part about the gameplay is just having fun, and I don't know if I would say that that if you really learn anything whenever you play the game, I would probably say that knowing about that what you like to do, like flying a helicopter, and of course stealing cars, and shooting people, and shooting the bad guys, whatever. It's like so far as in a mission it is. It's like leave all that blood and stuff out, but. Other than that is like knowing about the whole purpose about the game. As I say, it's like just having fun and enjoying a couple of hours, just doing the typical things that that normally that you think about. You come home from a hard day of work, and just knowing about like pow pow. Other than that other than what we say is that driving a car or stealing a motorcycle or a helicopter, whatever it is, or stealing a wagon, whatever it is just knowing about. It's like people probably think about you play that game, and a lot of game players probably don't even want to think about is completing the missions it is, and just knowing about it's like that whenever they want to play the game, they just want to drive around the city and blow things up, whatever it is, get in trouble with about the law. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is like other than that I would probably suggest with the game, kind of gives them know about that ability for any game players is to know about that the type of fun that you have with the game. Because really, if you ask yourself about if most of us have played the game before, there's no other than it's like we have you completely surrounded. Like, put your hands in the air right now. We got you on camera. You better give yourself up. But other than that, knowing about is that it goes by saying it's like with the helicopter, it's like announcer is like a suspect on range. So I've been well, we order you to stop, put down your weapon and put your hands up. But other than that, and I'm talking about is like with the game details is knowing about with me that driving the ambulance. But other than that is talk about other than that with the game it is that I would probably suggest for any game players it is just enjoy your time with it, and then knowing about whatever that you learn is that the fact about that don't try this out that in reality it is, because most kids that may learn how to do that type of stuff maybe if they learned it on a game or whatever it was. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is like with the artwork. It's like with me that I pretty much learned how to do the artwork is just knowing about the concentration, imagining about what the helicopter looks like. But then on the other hand too, that knowing about what the gameplay it is, what the gameplay and the details I went ahead and put into the game right here, and just knowing about the fact about the details about it's like the game is not about what you call causing trouble. It's all about the fact about it's like having fun, and we say is just going around the city and then just exploring. It's like different parts you say of the city to explore. But other than that, it's like talking about it's like for the GTA Vice City is like game art coloring.